You see, when I tell people that the attack on October 7 in Israel was planned and Israel authorities were aware of it, people don't believe me. That attack was meant to usher in the Third World War. You see, the Bible has been talking about the advent of the man of peace, that is, the peace accord. The peace accord, that peace accord is what will usher in rapture, the rapture of the church of Jesus Christ. There is no time, my brother. There is no time. This rapture that the church has been talking about for centuries now, this is the generation that will witness it. It will happen before our eyes. The church will go very soon. I'm telling you the truth. You see, the videos I will play for you in this particular video, they will enlighten you more. They will enlighten you more. Israel was aware of the attack on the 7th of October. They were aware of it. They were aware of it years prior to the attack. Yes, because a document in possession of Israeli intelligence indicates so. Yes, a document indicates so. Israel was aware of the attack before the attack took place. So they were in the position to take an evasive action in order to avert that attack. But it is obvious an instruction came. These people we call our leaders, they are more loyal to their courts where they belong than to the constitution they swore to protect. I'm telling you the truth. Israeli authorities were aware of that attack, but because of the instruction given to them, they wouldn't avert it. Just watch this video now. Just watch this video I will play for you. Just watch it.
We're following some breaking news this hour, a truly remarkable report out of the New York Times about the extent to which Israel was warned about Hamas's intentions to start a war ahead of the deadly October 7th attacks. Quote, Israeli officials obtained Hamas's battle plan for the October 7th terrorist attack more than a year before it happened, documents, emails, and interviews show. But Israeli military and intelligence officials dismissed the plan as aspirational, considering it too difficult for Hamas to carry out. The approximately 40-page document, which the Israeli authorities codenamed Jericho Wall, outlined point by point exactly the kind of devastating invasion that led to the deaths of about 1,200 people. According to one intelligence analyst in Israel, this was not merely a plan for an attack. Quote, it is a plan designed to start a war. Ben, this just published before we went to air, so I just want to sort of set the table for folks. I mean, it's not just that there's a battle plan. It is the battle plan. It involves things like paragliders going over the fence. It involves machine guns and drones to take out security cameras. It involves initiating with a barrage of rockets, motorcycles going over the fence. I mean, it's literally the plan. And they had it inside the Israeli intelligence apparatus. What's your, as someone who works in the United States and security apparatus, what is your reaction to this?
I mean, it's absolutely astonishing, Chris, because to your point, sometimes you have warning that something might happen, but very rarely, if ever, do you have this level of specificity. And that's what is so astonishing about this reporting. It wasn't just like a concern that Hamas might be up to something, they might be trying to plan something big. You usually get those types of warnings, reflections in conversations or intercepted communications. This was the literal plan of what they actually ended up doing on October 7th within the Israeli system for a full year. That is something, that is an intelligence and policy failure that goes beyond anything that I can think of.
There's another additional aspect to this that in some ways is even more damning, which is that at least one analyst in a unit in the Israeli intelligence system basically watched or saw that there was a rehearsal about 6 weeks before the attack, and once again basically went to a superior and said, it looks like they're rehearsing the plan from that we have, Jericho Wall, and was again, again, according to the reporting we have in the New York Times, encrypted emails they've obtained, basically told, don't worry about it.
Right. The thing that people have to bear in mind here is that not only was there not an action taken to disrupt this, but in fact, on October 7th, what had happened is the IDF that would normally be at that border had been redirected up to the West Bank.
You heard what he said now. He said soldiers that were supposed to stay at that border were deployed to the West Bank on that day. That's before that day. You see, did you suspect something? Okay, let's continue.
Because they were busy protecting settlers, Israeli settlers who were engaging, often initiating clashes with Palestinians. So actually the border wasn't even at the normal status quo of security. It was less. And that's the policy failure, to redirect those resources up to the West Bank. You would think that if you had this kind of planning and you were seeing this kind of activity by Hamas, we have reporting of additional warnings from Egypt and other places about this potentially. So you would think that you would be trying to do everything you could to fortify that border and at least hedge against the fact that this plan might go forward, if not try to actively disrupt it. None of that happened.
Now I will play the ending part of that video. That's the ending part of that interview, where that man said that Israel controls the information and communication system of the Palestinians, and there was no way such level of attack would have been carried out without them getting to know about it, that it was impossible. Just hear him say it.
There's a lot of questions raised by this, like how far up did it go? Who's this colonel who said no? Why did people think they weren't going to do it? How far did they circulate the reports that they were rehearsing, etc.?
My immediate reaction right on October 7th is, how could this have happened? Because just to give you one example, Israel controls the entire internet and telecommunications infrastructure in Gaza. So sure, Hamas can try to communicate offline, but the idea that you could plan something of this sophistication without it interacting with the telecommunications network that Israel has visibility in, I just didn't get that. And part of what we're seeing now is actually they did have this information.
Now, see what Pastor Chris Oyakhilome has to say about this. Just watch and just be marveled. See what he has to say about it. And also, in my coming video, I will also play another message Pastor Chris Oyakhilome released many years back about what is happening today in Israel. Just try and share this video, like and follow this page, so that you'll be getting continuous updates on issues like this. Thank you very much. Just watch the video about what Pastor Chris Oyakhilome said concerning this thing that is going on in Israel now. Thank you.
Question: where was Israel? Where were they looking when there were such massive incursions into their country by Hamas? What were they thinking? I thought Israel had some of the best intelligence in the world. I think many are surprised. Like, how could Israel have been taken by surprise? The question is not whether, it's not how could Israel be taken by surprise. Maybe it's a legitimate question, of course, but it should be more about who was taken by surprise and who was not taken by surprise. Who were those who knew that this was coming? How timely it was to somehow follow the $6 billion return to Iran that had been held back for years. So, and then Iran is behind the founding of Hamas, Hezbollah, and maybe a few others, like the Islamic Jihad. So, question, who was taken by surprise and who was not taken by surprise? Because some were not taken by surprise. It's about who are these who are more loyal to their courts than they are to their country. And where is this game? It's all about the one world government. I think it was in 2021 or so, I was explaining on this program I explained the involvement of the Freemasons in the one world government pursuit. Now, when I talk about the Freemasons, I'm not talking about the junior Freemasons that, some of you who are not serious Christians might have been a part of, and then you think you're into something. You haven't even started. So just be calm and listen to me, and don't start getting uncomfortable. He's talking about Freemason. I love Freemason. Relax yourself. Albert Pike, the Grand Commander and Sovereign Pontiff of the Universal Freemasonry, made the statement I'm going to read to you in a moment. In his vision and plan for the Third World War, and I explained this to you before. I explained on this program before. This was the Sovereign Pontiff, the Grand Commander of Freemason, the Universal Freemasons. So let me read to you so you understand what you're seeing, because they're following the Grand Commander's plan. He said the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati. What do you mean agentur? It means the agency of the Illuminati. You see it? So they're going to use the help of the Illuminati to foment this trouble. How? The Illuminati will take advantage of the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world. Now, the term political Zionist is another broad term, because political Zionist doesn't just mean the Jews. It means all those who support Israel. And that drags Christians right into it. They are referred to globally among political Zionists. Is there anywhere they sing songs of Zion more than among Christians? But I'll read more. You would notice in a second. So it's not just, these are not just off-the-cuff statements. No, listen. So he says, the agency of the Illuminati will take advantage of the differences between what? The political Zionists and the Islamic world. I read further. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and political Zionism mutually destroy each other. So, who is instigating the war? Look at it. The Illuminati will instigate the war by taking advantage of the differences between political Zionism and the Islamic world leaders. So, this is a war on different fronts. And I told you about the words, the term used by George Bush Sr. when he called it 1,000 points of lights. That's a statement from the Illuminati. And they tell you they're coming at you from different positions. Like how Saddam Hussein was lured into Kuwait. And I read you those details as well. So it wasn't Saddam Hussein who just woke up one day and wanted to move into Kuwait. No. An official was sent to Saddam Hussein to advise him that it would be a good idea to move into Kuwait. And that America will not do anything about it. He shouldn't be worried. Then he moved into Kuwait. And the next thing he knew, Gulf War. But these are not secret things. I gave you the name of the lady who went there, April Glaspie. So, he was lured into Kuwait. So, who sent her? The members of the Illuminati. So hear what Pike says, Albert Pike. He says, meanwhile, other nations once more divided on this issue. Okay, on what issue? The problem between the political Zionists and Islam. Now, think about it. When the Ukrainian war with Russia at least dominated the news, and Israel was kind of making some headway with friendships with some of the Arab nations, everybody wondered where was the enmity between Israel and the Palestinians. It seemed like it had gone to the, it was, nobody was thinking about it. It was like off the table. It wasn't off the table for the Illuminati. At the right time, they were advised that this was the moment to strike. So you strike, and what happens? What happens? Israel returns fire for fire in a very devastating way. Now, Israel will be accused of killing a fly with a sledgehammer. That's what's going to happen. All those who are supporting Israel right now, they're going to turn against Israel. Those nations that are saying, yeah, they're going to turn against Israel soon. And they're going to say, it's too much. So while Israel is fighting this, already Hezbollah and to the northern part of Israel, from their southern Lebanon territories, started trying some things. They attacked some of the military positions of Israel, and Israel responded. But war has not been declared. So very likely, Israel fights this one, and now they've moved their soldiers also to the northern border. So they're going to be fighting on two fronts very soon. But it's going to be more than that, because Iran is funding Hezbollah and funding Hamas, and they're not hiding it, and they're saying so. So Israel will have to take actions against Iran. So very likely the plan from these people who are behind this is to instigate Israel to attack Iran. So they're going to be fighting Hamas and fighting Hezbollah and fighting Iran. And since they're fighting for their lives, they're going to be very devastating. And because they're fighting that, then Islamic Jihad from Pakistan joins. And that drags as envisioned by the planners of this. That drags the Arab world into it all. So they declare intifada. Intifada means to shake off, literally, which really is a term to refer to uprising. So it's a kind of rebellion. So what you're seeing is, I told you about the polarization of nations. And I told you about this phase of polarization and what we were about to see and when it began. I told you it was going to go on. So you're going to have those that are pro-China. You have those that are pro-Europe. And of course, China will be friends with Russia. And then I wonder where your country, which one will your country join? You see, so they're going to be so polarized. This is what they plan to do. This is what they plan to do. Listen again to Albert Pike's plan here. It says, meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. See, they want to get the world exhausted, frustrated. He says, we shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists. Think about it. They will unleash the nihilists and the atheists. So they know. See, the Freemasons understand. Because when people get into the Freemasons, they tell them that it's not a religion. But it is a religion. Albert Pike said it's a religion. Albert Pike, the Grand Commander, Sovereign Pontiff, stated very clearly that it is a religion. And not only that it is a religion, he stated several times that Lucifer is God. So if you don't know and you are in the Freemason, I want you to understand that the real doctrine of Freemasonry is that Lucifer, Satan, is God. That's their doctrine. So if you don't understand, if you are a Freemason, you are a worshiper of Satan. You are a Satanist. So if you are not yet aware, you are not high enough yet. Because Albert Pike said this should be told only to those of the 31st and 32nd degrees. So if you're not yet that high, you're not going to know. Listen to what he says. He says, we shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism. What is he saying? See, they hate atheism. Why? Because they believe that Lucifer, Satan, is God. So they're saying there is a God. So they despise the atheists. So they're going to use them. So in the beginning, the atheists would think that they're on the same page. The nihilists would think they're on the same page. Even the Illuminati would think they're on the same page because they're only using them. You see it? So he goes on to say this.